This is the Milo Beasley Show. This is the Milo Beasley Show. There's only one thing you need to know. This is the Milo Beasley Show. And now, here's your host, Milo Beasley.
And welcome to the Milo Beasley Show, episode number 338. Whew, way up there. It's a lot of talking. I'm super excited for our next guest. We've been trying to do this for a while now, and we finally made the time. So please help me welcome at this time. You've seen her and on WandaVision. If you have Netflix, you've 100% seen her. Please help me welcome at this time, Rachael Thompson. How are you doing?
Hi, Milo. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. And I mentioned those things, but here's where we met on this bad boy.
I was thinking.
Do you have one of these?
I think I do.
You do have the DVD. Very rare.
That's what I hear. How did you? I mean, that looks like it's not been opened.
It hasn't even been opened. No, I have some.
I think I don't. I don't think I have
for
the official one. I don't think I have one that you could purchase. It was like before.
Yeah, this is like the official, like on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah, you could purchase this one online, and they'll ship it straight to you like this, still in the plastic. So I was given a bunch of them to give to our friends here in Orlando who haven't gotten any. Yeah. So if you need one, this one right here is yours.
That would make a good evening of entertainment.
It would. God, how long ago was that?
I was just trying to calculate that. What,
because 2000. Now, granted, this says that the copyright was 2013. So that was when that couldn't be when it started, right? Or is that when it finished? It didn't finish. That wasn't 8 years.
No, because they had to reshoot, and that was almost like 10 years later after that, right? Or something.
Right. Yeah, because they lost half the Tara lost half the footage. Like she went to go get it digitized, and they lost half the footage.
God.
So then we had to go film
the final.
Yeah, so then we had to go film in Altamont Springs. In some
stomping grounds.
Right. And then as we were talking about Full Sail, did you do the Full Sail shoots behind Full Sail as well?
I think so.
Yeah, it was just like in the woods.
Like ducking behind things. I don't think I was any of those, but I think I came to visit just to say hi to some people.
Yeah, it was good times. It was good times. That's how I got my first IMDb. I credit.
I might have been my first one too.
Yeah, so this was your first IMDb credit?
I think so.
That's fantastic.
I want to say yes. I'm pretty sure. And now both our hairs were all the way down to here. Then.
Yep, my hair was way down, which of course made shooting way more difficult than it needed to be because wigs wouldn't stay on and.
You did multiple characters, right? You were Reaper. I mean, you were.
I did. And I died about a dozen or plus times.
I know. We should add all that up. See how many times you and Justice and all those guys.
Yeah, I think we were gonna do a drinking game at the premiere, and we were like, somebody would die.
You would die again if you did a drinking game.
But yeah, I played multiple, a lot of stuff from the back and stuff like that. So you couldn't see that it was me getting my head chopped off for the 18th time.
Oh, there was such good relationships made on that show. I still talk to people. Amber Crawford, I still talk to her.
Right. And people have gone on to do, so Jennifer Palmer was on a Disney Plus.
That's right.
She was on the Falcon and Winter Soldier show.
Yep.
And Lady and the Tramp.
And more coming. She was just on a DC show, Naomi.
Right. Yeah, she was just right.
Bad guy on that show, which is kind of perfect for her.
So yeah, I mean that's what a great launching pad. And I mean, in my intro, I had Lloyd Kaufman on my intro, and he was a lot of fun on set. Although that was some of the footage that was lost.
Oh,
yeah. So, but we did have George Perez who is not doing great right now, but we had a lot of fun with George Perez on the set. So yeah, so it was a fun project.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
We had to meet people because it was 13 years long or something.
And the cast was so many people.
So many. God,
actually, I just went to the Florida Renaissance Fair for the first time in my life.
How? Yeah. So that must have just been like flashbacks, right?
Oh yeah. I was like, I swear I'm going to run into people here that were on the Reaper project.
Right.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually went with JCP and our other friend Leander, and JCP brought us along because she used to do the Renaissance Fair tour like all over the country with her husband Ryan, and she was like, "This is a part of my history, and you get to share it now." I'm like, I'm so excited.
That's fantastic. So, what did you think of the Ren Fair?
It was so fun. I mean, I can get into stuff like that too, just easily. My imagination doesn't need too much help already, but just like walking up and then you come up into the gates right there, and there's these gentlemen playing trumpets to let you in at the opening ceremonies. It was so much fun. And right when you walk in, there's what is it called? It's there's like big bells, something along. Not chimelon. Oh, I'm blanking out. But it was this cool built instrument, and it's like I can't even.
Somebody right now is like yelling at their.
They know. Oh, I hear you. Car starts with a C. Ooh. Oh well. If I
guarantee you, right the minute we like end this, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I know what it is."
Tonight when I'm sleeping, like Garmelon, whatever it's called. My husband's like, "What?"
So I wanna backtrack a little bit into I guess it was last year. I don't know what these years are like anymore.
I know.
But I mean,
time anomaly. It's
one of the coolest moments. I was super big into WandaVision, and I'm sitting there on my couch watching, and I stood up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my god, I know her! I know her!" My wife was like, "What?" I was like, "I know her."
I love that.
So, how did that come about of you getting that role of Major Goodner? And how hard was it to keep that a secret?
Well, when you sign an NDA and you're bound by law, it's easy to like, but so okay, we'll backtrack. So auditions for that were, I think even for that role, and all the auditions are like dummy sides. Like you don't know what you're auditioning for, what role. And you're just, I auditioned for a lot of different roles on Marvel. They don't tell you the title of the show. They don't, nothing. So I go in there, and first I remember auditioning for this one. I was like, ooh, I want this part. I have no idea what it is, but this feels good.
Right.
And then when I got cast, so I got cast months later, and they still didn't really quite have the name. They didn't have the name yet.
Okay.
And it was still like SVOD, like it's a untitled, undisclosed thing, and you need to check your availability and all this and that. And then I get cast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in a Marvel show. I don't care which one. I just love Marvel, because my family. That's one thing I was hoping for in my career, is to be able to be in something that my whole family can watch together too. Like that's Absolutely. A big deal. Because up to then it's like, little one-liners here, or things that they can't watch because, it's not appropriate for children, or, my mom would be like, I don't like it. So getting cast in a Marvel show alone was like, I'm geeking out. I don't even know what's going to happen. And then I get I think it was first it was Captain. I think Captain Goodner maybe. And then I got promoted to Major Goodner at some point right before we shot. But when I was reading the sides, I'm like, oh, this is similar to that audition that I did that I liked. I'm like,
Right.
That's cool. And I still don't know. We never get the full script. And there's even script changes. Day of, there was script changes, and there was like different big chunks of. I'm like, oh, and I'm already kind of like, oh, I think it might have been. I think it was the biggest thing I had done up to that point, and so I'm already like, I'm super excited, and I think sometimes we get that confused with nerves. So I keep having to remind myself, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Right.
Excited to be here. But even the wardrobe fitting, I still didn't know what I was doing. Still didn't have a script at that point. I'm trying on a uniform. I'm like, oh, I'm in the Air Force. Okay. I don't know any Marvel. What's Marvel in, like what's going on here? And so it was that top secret. Like even the wardrobe people, I think they had more clues, but they still didn't know everything.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It was crazy. What was that your question? Like, just
and then so afterward, how hard was it to keep a secret? Like, so how long was it from the time that you filmed to the time that it aired?
Oh, over a year, probably almost.
Oh my gosh!
We shot. We were supposed to shoot end of February 2020, and then weather kept crazy. It was crazy weather at that time. Like there's thunderstorms, torrential stuff going on, and so they kept pushing the shoot date, and then we finally started shooting in March. And then the director got, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say or anything, but we had to shut down production for a little bit. And then we came back and shot the rest of what I thought we need, but it felt like they didn't get everything because it was also still raining. We were still fighting the weather and everything. But then we were wrapped. And then right after that, everything I was cast on one other project that was going to shoot the following weekend, but we didn't even get to that because everything shut down and everybody was gone, flying back to LA after that. So I'm like, what do we do now? But that was March. And then I got called to do reshoots in LA. So I got to go to LA for my first time in, I think it was October or November, that same year. And finish the shoot there, and they had to like replicate.
Right.
And this was another cool thing. They had like the blue screen, the giant blue screens, because they had to match locations, but they didn't have the same field as they had in Georgia. And now they're in LA, but we got to shoot on the Disney Ranch, which was really, really cool too. Like how many things that I've seen growing up were shot there, and they're
Right.
I was so geeking out. Anyway, so we shot all that, and it was an awesome experience. Just the whole thing was just wonderful. And then it came out. When did it come out? February?
Yeah, I think so. February,
March.
Yeah,
around then. But yeah,
man. So an entire year, God. I mean, so. Were you privy to anything that was going on prior, or did you have to watch the show to understand the story?
I had to watch the show. Like I still, and I feel like if I'd have known some other things, and also I still don't really know some of the details. Like I was like on the fan forums, like speculating too. Like I wonder who's gonna, and then they like, you remember, like they were starting to talk about, I wonder who the aerospace engineer is. I'm like, I think it's me, but everybody was like, it's going to be Reed Richards and it's going to be John Krasinski. And
right.
And I'm like, that's what John Krasinski's going to be on the show. I'm like, I started getting excited too, and I was like, oh no, what if it's just me?
Because that was the scuttlebutt. I think 90% of the people thought it was going to be John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
And I'm sorry to disappoint everybody. But the Twitter, like all the posts and the memes that came up after that were so funny. It was just, I was cracking up. And I'm a good sport. I mean, like,
right.
I've been made fun of all my life. I can take anything. It's all good. But like, it was so funny just how invested people were in a certain outcome that they had no control over. And I'm sure like the Marvel people are like, oh geez. Like all, and I'm just sitting back like, am I the aerospace engineer? I'm pretty sure I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm not really sure anymore. That was a lot of fun. Like the after effect too.
You're saying like, oh, I can't wait for Reed Richards. Oh, it's not Reed Richards. It's me.
And you could feel it. It felt like a buildup. Like, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? And it's like, and it's me. Hi, everyone. Everybody's like,
I mean,
who is that?
I mean, for again, like you said, at that point, that's the biggest role of your career. So they have this big role and be like, oh, this is my moment, and then everyone's like, boo.
Yeah! Get out of here! You're not John Krasinski. Boo! I can try to be John Krasinski.
You should have just at one point you should have just looked at the camera. Did the
yeah. No.
I'm legit crying.
Me too.
Oh man.
I mean, I saved some of the memes on my phone because they were just too good. And have you seen the Wish memes, like wish.com? I wonder if I could pull it up real quick. I don't want to waste too much of your time. But it's like, I don't even know if you can see this that well. It's like the what I ordered and what I got.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh, you can't really see it so good. Oh, hey, focus. Focus.
There we go.
It cracks me up.
Oh.
It's too much. It's
so but hey, at least you're good spirits about it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm in a Marvel show.
Oh, exactly. And you never know. I mean, and you never know how things are going to go. You could end up somewhere else in the future. Maybe you are, and you're just not talking about it because of NDAs.
Who knows? I don't know. The NDAs are so good, I have no clue.
I did see people on Twitter demanding a Major Goodner backstory. So
did you?
Again,
well,
you never know.
I'm down with it. I mean, I feel like I could see Major Goodner come in if they ever do a focus on Maria Rambeau or something, because but there's nothing. I would like to know. I would like to see how Sword started.
I think that there is money and viewers in a Rambeau offshoot show. So I mean, Agent Coulson died, and he's been on literally every Marvel show. Right. So,
but he's Agent Coulson. He's kind of one of my favorite characters ever.
Right. So you never know where Major Goodner could end up.
True, and I mean, alternate universes. I'd be a mutant. I was hoping I was going to be a mutant, like because they were talking about that putting the XMen into the mix or introducing the XMen. Like, I want to be an X-Men.
You never know. You could be a Skrull too. Never know.
I saw that theory. Big, like everybody was. I was definitely a Skrull. Even my nephews, they were like, "You're a Skrull, aren't you?"
Hey, Secret Invasion's coming out, which is one of my favorite series. One of my favorite comic series was Secret Invasion. So I'm super excited for that. And you never know. But then since then, it's not like you just did WandaVision and just went like, that's cool, I'm just gonna chill. You've been like so busy.
It was surprisingly wonderfully busy last year. Like I was thinking during the shutdown, you have that thought like, am I ever gonna act again? Are we ever gonna have this industry? Because there's thousands of people on set. Right. And we're in a pandemic. I'm like, I did not see how we were gonna get around it, But they figured it out and they made it work. And I had a really great year last year. And COVID testing, I don't know how many times I've been COVID tested. Like all these actors, like we know how to.
Right. Yeah. You're like, do it. Yeah. Your nose is numb at this point.
Not just actors, crew people. Yeah. Everybody's got to test constantly.
And then, so I have to know, so obviously you went to virtual like auditions and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
that's so do you prefer the virtual audition or do you prefer in person?
Man.
Because I mean, obviously in person is you're staring at people.
Yeah.
And they're not saying anything.
Yeah. It's different.
But at least you get to see people and you can maybe read a little bit of body language.
Yeah.
But virtual, you're just like, here, let me talk to this plastic thing.
It's not so easy. It became a whole, I mean, Southeast actors, like we've been doing taped auditions for a while now anyway. But, and so the in-persons would mostly callbacks, things like that. But now it's all virtual. And sometimes, and when you're doing taped audition, you'd have a live reader in the room with you. And so you still have a live person to work with. But after the shutdown, it went to like, you're talking to somebody on Zoom or FaceTime and they're reading with you. And sometimes there's a delay and sometimes it would get frustrating, So it came this whole other game. And I started looking at it as almost, you have to make your own little short film, like you have to have quality and make sure that what you're feeling is being read, is being felt too. And so it's because you don't have a live person in the room with you. So you almost have to kind of take off your actor hat and put on like a director eye or something. And like, is this
right?
Is this reading? Do I believe me? Or, because it's
right. No.
You get in your head because you're like thinking in your audition and overthinking. And
anyway, do you find it easier to get to audition and get parts because now things are, you're able to audition anywhere, you don't have to live in Hollywood, in LA, or do you think that it's harder because everybody's auditioning for these roles?
That's a great question. I feel like it was a momentous occasion for Southeast actors because we have been doing taped auditions for a while. Right. So I felt like we did have a little bit of an edge as far as what I was hearing. A lot of people were struggling with self-tape because it's a learning curve. Like you have to like learn. And I learned, especially, I was when my acting studios in Orlando at Class Act Studio, I got to help with the taping services there. I was taping people, putting people on tape there. So I was familiar with how to do it there so that when I had to do it on my own at home, it made it easier for me,
Makes sense.
But, and like, I'm also kind of tech savvy, so I pick things up easier, but I know a lot of people aren't. So I was just imagining like it's a nightmare for some people, it's just like, that is not what I just want to act, I don't want to have to deal with all this because it's filming, it's lighting, it's angles, it's editing, it's uploading and labeling and
But you've had experience at doing all that. I mean, between acting and writing, producing, directing, you've had your hand in all that. Do you have of all the different types of things within the industry? Do you have a preference either being on camera, behind the camera?
Oh man. I just love all of it. I love all of it. I never, so that's something, if you'd have told me I was going to be an actor however long ago, I'd have been like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Cause I was very like in my shell, walls up for like, I was I was a band nerd, I loved performing, but when I'm, and I looking back on my childhood and growing up now, it's like, I think I was drawn to performing. I just didn't realize it. Like I always enjoyed performing, like, I was in ballet or, kindergarten, we had our first little performance and we did a circus thing and I was a trapeze artist and I was the best trapeze artist in the world. I was like so into it, and then I did chorus and we played in the orchestra. Like I played the little instruments but when we were rehearsing things to play for people, and it felt like this gift that I could give, like, this is what we can do for you, and like looking back on that, I feel like I had that performance bug throughout my life and just didn't really ever think I could do it when I grew up, maybe.
Right.
And then, as a band nerd, I thought I was going to be a doctor all of my life. And then, that wasn't an option. If you don't want to starve, you need to not do music, but I loved music and playing instruments and, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, okay, I'm going like all over the place.
No. But you talk about playing instruments. You're in a band too.
I'm in a band now.
Like where do you find time to do anything? You're so busy.
Right now, I am so grateful that if somebody asks me now, what do you do? I'm like, I'm an actor and I play music. I'm an actor and a musician. And I'm like, this is my life. And I can't even believe it. I cannot believe it. It's like, I was telling somebody during the shutdown, I was having this conversation and, I'm like, if I die, because you don't know what's going to happen in a pandemic, you haven't thought, like, I might die. My loved ones might die. I might die. Who knows? I don't know. This could be the end. Is this how we go out? Anyway, like, if this happens, I'm happy, with everything so far. I still can't believe, how far I got to come,
right.
In feeling alive, or feeling like I'm doing what I want to do. And I know that a lot of people don't get that gift or, don't have the opportunity to go after that gift, and it is it's what it feels like. It's such a gift. Like, wow, I get to do this stuff. But so to answer your question, if I have a preference, I love acting and I feel like I still have so much more to learn on all of these things. But when I got to direct, I never knew I wanted to direct either. And one of my friends asked to direct their short film. I'm like, me? They're like, yeah. I'm like, everything I learned on YouTube or online, I'm like, look up everything. And so I tried to figure it out on my own and was still like super, like, I don't fancy myself a leader or anything like that. I never felt like that growing up. And then, but when I got on set and started directing, it was just something clicked that I never felt before. And I'm like, boom, I'm like, this is really hard, but I love it. And I think I'm good at it. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy. And, of course there's always room to grow,
right.
But that I've had so many opportunities to learn getting on set, starting as an extra, starting in stunts,
right.
Starting doing the background stuff and doing stunt stuff. And just like, I love that I've been able to play in all of the things. Yep. And I love writing, and that's, I've loved writing since I was a kid. And so I would love to see myself being able to do all of it, writing, directing, producing, acting, if I can. But I know enough now to where I'm like, I'm not going to do all of that at once. I know some people can do that, but like, that's a big
right.
Big deal.
Right. So no Kevin Smith work for you then.
I'm not Kevin Smith. I'm not even John Krasinski. It's just like,
But you said I mean, you're blessed to be busy during, the shutdown and stuff like that. And all that stuff is starting to come to fruition.
yeah.
Like right now, you just had Tall Girl 2 on Netflix.
Tall Girl 2 came out, such a sweet film. Oh.
I mean, and the thing about Pam is on NBC now.
Yes.
That's incredible. And I'm a huge Peacock watcher.
Oh yeah.
So available on the Peacock as well. I watch it. I don't watch that many things live. So
yeah, I know we haven't had regular TV almost 15 years, I think. It's been 15 years since we had regular TV.
And then let's see, when does this thing air? Yes, this week that this is air. Spoilers, we're not actually filming this the day that but this week, this week, The Girl from Plainville premieres on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, that's what I can't even think of her name. Fanning.
Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning, yes.
Lovely, lovely lady. Wow. So the thing about The Girl from Plainville. It's also based on true crime investigation. The texting suicide case.
Right.
Michelle Carter and Conrad Roy. And I remember watching it in the news. Like, you remembered when that came up in the news and everybody's like, evil girl, and it's horrible, like there were things that happened and things that came out, and the texting conversation that came out, which made her look very bad, but I love that this production took the time and care into telling a fuller story, because we're all human. We're capable of so much, whether we want to believe it or not. We are capable of anything, even the thing about Pam, you know what I mean? It's like, and I love how, that show kind of touches on, like, you can see how somebody can become a villain, basically, villain. I mean, that's in storytelling, but so it's like we're not above it. It's just this stuff happens and it's tragic. It's these two tragic kids that didn't know how to be, and it's so relatable, but on the different levels, of course. But it's just like, whoa. So yeah, The Girl from Plainville. I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out too.
Absolutely. So I do have Hulu, so that one would be that one is on the saved the recorded list, I think is what it is. I don't know. You say you're great at you say you're good at tech stuff. I am the least tech savvy person, but I've somehow made it. I somehow made it 300 episodes into this online thing. So.
You're right. That's what I mean. 338, right? Is that what you said?
338. And then coming out soon, I guess there's no official date yet, but a highly touted series on Netflix.
Yes.
First Kill.
Kill.
Do you ever think you would be involved in a teen vampire?
No,
series?
but I'm so glad I am. And it allowed me to go full circle back to, stunt roots, right?
Right.
I got to play with some stunt people, and we had these scenes, and unfortunately they had to cut my fight scene because they were running out of time, which was very, very sad. But still, I was still stoked to have been a part of it, and like
Right.
weapons and everything like that. So it made me feel like maybe there's more of this in my future. Maybe I'm not just the mom roles or anything like that, you know? Like, it was still a mom. I can't really say too much. I still have to, like, part of my brain is like, what can you talk about still? What can't you talk about? But that was a really fun show to work on. And I got to work with a friend from an Orlando acting class too, who's on that show.
Oh, fantastic.
One of the regulars. So it was very, I don't know if that was one of my favorite parts of working on that. It was just surreal, you know?
Right.
Because you flash back to when you're in class and we're trying to be actors on screen, and now we're on set together being actors on screen. I'm like, wow!
Yeah, it's weird when things work out like that, and you end up, oh, we're just gonna do that, and then next thing you know, hey, you're working together on screen, you know, like on camera. That's
right. And I'm assuming it'll probably happen more often too, as we all keep going and the Southeast keeps growing.
absolutely a lot of things out of Atlanta and New Orleans. So great place to be down in the South right now, as long as they keep getting those tax breaks.
Yeah. I wish Florida would bring back their tax breaks, tax incentives.
That's it. Tax incentives.
Yes.
Yes.
Film incentives. And it should be a no-brainer, but we are not using all of our brains here in Florida all the time.
You know, people ask me how I can live here, and I don't have an answer for them.
It's beautiful.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
it.
The nature thing is the thing, but yeah, we live in a developer friendly state, so the developments are going up everywhere, and this actually can bring me to what my sister's trying to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about this.
So you know how corporations have rights as entities now, so they have a right to do whatever I'm going to oversimplify a lot of things. That I'm not a trained activist or anything like that, but this is my state, this is my home, right? And I know a lot of people feel the same way. Like, if you're in Florida, you love nature. You wouldn't be here if you didn't love nature,
right?
And just to see all these developments popping up everywhere. And I'm starting to see like these sinkholes, just these little sinkholes just happen every once in a while. I'm like, oh my God, and we're not even all, people just keep moving in because it's beautiful here.
Right.
But like our water system is so fragile already. And our nature is trying to hold on, right? It's powerful enough, but if we keep going, if we don't do things to start reversing it, it's very,
very fragile. Yes.
Very fragile.
The ecosystem right now, especially in Florida,
is very disheartening to see. Just like, you know, the state underfunds and understaffs certain safeguards. There should be a way to counterbalance things, but they're like minimized. The scientists are minimized. So the developers, the corporations have rights to pollute water, our water. And so what my sister and her colleagues, what do you call them? Friends and colleagues. My sister's a lawyer. Is she a lawyer? She went to law school. She's also a major in the Marine Corps. She's retired and a mother of 3, a wonderful Melissa Martin. That's my sister. She's my hero. But she's been trying to establish rights to nature. So there's already a rights for nature things going on. I think it's called there's actually a group, Florida Rights of Nature Network, and there's a website, FRONN.org, Florida Rights of Nature Network. And they have a lot of information there. But they're trying, what we need to do is change the language of the Constitution so that us citizens have a right to clean water. And so that way, if, say a corporation is polluting our clean water, we have a right to challenge them on that. That's the oversimplification of it all. She's got, she said that they're trying to. It's not easy to change the language in the Constitution, but that is right. the most. I mean, simple is not easy, right?
Right.
But they're gonna need 900,000 signed petitions, like signed paper petitions, and then they're hand delivered. So it's not like a simple like check on a website. Okay, I signed that. It can't be that easy, of course.
Right.
So I'm trying to help her get the word out to help get those petitions signed, and then so that they can eventually update our Florida Constitution to include rights for nature, rights to nature for the citizens.
Right. Did you say that was FRONN?
Yes, FRONN.org.
.org. So right there at the bottom, you see the scroll at the bottom.
Look at that!
It's magic. It's magic. So yeah, so check it out. Just doing things on the fly here.
Magic.
Yeah. So check it out. I keep we talked about this earlier. I have this. I can't not look at it.
You know what I do sometimes for a stray gray?
I'm just gonna.
I take a little wand of mascara or something. They have like little wands for hair dye and stuff, but like little, just a little.
I can't not look at it in the other screen. It's fine.
Now I want to just stare at it.
I think I want to do now. Don't get nervous. It's a little game. Called the Milo Beasley Show. Frequently asked questions.
Ooh.
These are going to be the same 5 questions I've asked every single guest this year. I had a different set of questions last year, but we're doing all new questions this year. All right, are you ready? There's no wrong answers.
Oh.
Just first thing that pops in your head. All right.
The recovering perfectionist in me is settling down. Just settle down.
So question number 1.
Yes.
What was your first concert that you went to?
Like a music concert, or I'm overthinking it already, or theater performance?
Yes. First concert you went to. Yeah. Do you remember the band, singer?
Okay. It was Dina. Oh man, I don't remember. Was it Toby Keith and Dina? What's her last name? Dina Carter. The country.
Oh yeah, Dina Carter. Yes.
Because I was dating a boy that liked country music at the time. No, was it Keith? Oh no, I think it was Alan Jackson and Dina Carter. That's a great.
She had what? Strawberry Wine. That was her song, right?
Strawberry Wine. Yes.
And Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson's great. I love Alan Jackson.
Yeah. She came out barefoot on stage in some pink blow up couch. It was fun.
Like Gallagher, like a blow up couch like Gallagher, like in the background.
What's that?
Is it like a couch like Gallagher had in the background?
I think so. Yeah, but it was blow up and clear and pink.
That's fantastic.
But it was like an arena show, so I guess they had to do things so you could see.
Right.
But yeah.
Question number 2.
Another country show after that.
Nope.
I saw Fleetwood Mac later on. I just want to throw that in there. Okay. Next.
I have not seen Fleetwood Mac. It's on the list. I
got to see them when they all were there.
That's fantastic. Was that just a couple years ago?
Yes.
Here in Orlando?
It was probably 2017.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember.
2016. Man, time anomaly. We're still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Tampa. That was in Tampa. My friend Susan took us.
Question number 2.
Yes.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Ooh, like general term, like in general, yes.
Yeah, in general. And have you ever like felt anything weird? Had anything happen?
I have experienced some unexplainable activity in Thailand. My family's house there. And they were aware of it, but they didn't tell us. So in a room that we stay, do you want to hear like the whole story?
Yes, 100%.
Also, even this house that we're living in now, there's stories of ghosts living here.
Like things moving, like
I haven't seen anything moving.
Like things just move across the screen.
But we had a roommate that lived in the room downstairs, which come to find out later was the room that we heard that there were experiences in. But he said like there was a man that would come into his room sometimes. Like, what? We just thought he was drunk or something, but no. And then come to find out
anything like that.
Previous owner, yeah. But I did not experience that here. Just some like strange feelings, just like whatever. But I kind of had some witchy moments in my life and, clearing spaces and blessings and, love energy, trying to help things move along. I don't know. I don't know what, I don't know anything for sure. I'm just going to put all that out there. But the house in Thailand, I definitely, I was in the bathroom and the doorknob was like somebody like trying to open the door. And I thought it was my sister messing with me. I'm like,
right.
Gaja. I'm like, I call her Gaja. It's half Chinese. I have to call her Gaja. I was like, what are you doing? And she wouldn't answer. And normally she'd like laugh and run away, whatever. Didn't hear anything. So finally I get out of the bathtub and dry off and go out. Like I wanted to catch her. And she wasn't there. And she wasn't in the hallway. And I kept walking. And there was no way for her to get from there all the way to where she was in that time. And they were playing a game. They were in the middle of a game. She had everybody was down on the other side of the house. It was just me taking a bath up here. And so I was telling them what was going on, and I could see my family was like they were looking at each other like
like they know. They
knew something. I could tell. And then later on, we found out that I guess there's a ghost of a little boy and there's an old man that live there still, and that they have offerings for on their property to kind of help take a look, to keep it protected, right. I guess. But he likes to play tricks. So I'm like, well, good. He was trying to play with me. But after that, I'm like, hello? Do you speak English?
That's true, right?
Do you go speak English? Yeah. My grandma used to see the unseen quite often.
I don't know if I've ever had a moment. I have dreams. I have lots of very vivid dreams like that, but never anything in real life. So
yeah,
I don't know how I feel.
Other paranormal activity for you? UFOs, things like that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's got to be something, especially like UFOs. I feel like there's got to be something, but there's got to be. We can't be the only things here, right?
That's what I yeah. I'm so curious.
Question number 3. This is a little bit of a twist on a common question, but in a movie about your life, who would play your parents?
Oh, I know this one already.
Oh, okay.
Michelle Yeoh and Harrison Ford. Final answer.
That was quick. It's like you thought about this before.
I've written the movie. It's an action comedy. And Jackie Chan's my uncle. I love that question so much. I did not see that coming, and I'm so glad I have an answer.
Everyone's always like, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe but boom, perfect right away.
I mean,
you're the person this question was written for.
I know it feels like destiny, Milo. It feels like destiny. I mean, either Steve Martin or Harrison Ford. Yeah.
I'm a huge Steve Martin, so I'm gonna, not to say who your dad should be, but
I legit thought he was my uncle because my maiden name's Martin. Rick Martin was my dad's name, and they look a lot alike.
Oh yeah, never know.
He looked similar to Steve Martin and Harrison Ford at some points in his life. He loved Indiana Jones and Star Wars too.
Question number 4.
Yes.
Who is your favorite person to follow on social media?
Oh, I've been really lazy on social media lately. I followed people years ago, and I think the only notification I haven't turned off is Rainn Wilson. For whatever reason. I like how his brain works and how his heart works. It just kind of comes out like that. I'm not even like a huge Rainn Wilson fan or anything like that, but I think I was just interested in his posts. But
I get you. I'm a fan of his work for sure.
Yeah.
What was the Rob Zombie movie? Was that House of a Wait, what was he was in a scary movie. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was one of the Rob Zombie movies, like House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah, I think it was House of a Thousand Corpses.
See, I can't watch scary movies.
No,
but I appreciate them. I respect them. But again, my imagination does not need any help. But you got to play Harry Mudd on Star Trek. Are you a Trekkie?
I am not, but because of the circles I keep, I feel like I am.
You a Comic-Con, GalaxyCon comment?
Yes.
Man. I love Star
All right,
Trek.
so question number 5. You've been in the industry quite a while. You've met a lot of people, whether it was on set, at premieres, just anywhere. What was your biggest fangirl moment where you just saw somebody and just died, but had to meet them?
That I had to work with?
Yeah, or that you got to meet, that you were starstruck at.
I've got a handful. and it's from working. Like I haven't been to places where I've seen really famous people and like gone to introduce myself or anything, but I think the one I really had to talk myself, because I got to work with Sissy Spacek and Ben Mendelsohn, and so let's see. Oh my God. Okay. So just this past, Randall Park. I love Randall Park. I got to work with Agent Wu, right?
That's great. Yes.
But I think I just got to work with Judy Greer and Renee Zellweger.
I love Judy Greer, man.
Lovely, lovely souls. Just beautiful, brilliant, lovely, lovely people. And I got to work with Chloe Sevigny, who I adored on Bloodline, and Neo Boots. I was going to say that to Laura. Norbert Leo Butts. Like, they were both on Bloodline, and I loved what they did. And so just to kind of like, I'm a fan of theirs, so I get to like work with these people. It was blowing my mind. But the one that I really had to talk myself down, because I was afraid I didn't know how I was going to react. And
right.
At that time, it was probably the biggest realization of this in my career. Like, I booked Ozark, and they're like, I had to be there the next day for wardrobe fitting, and then we shot the day after that. So I'm driving up to do the wardrobe fitting, and I start like, I think that morning I drove up for the fitting, and then the next day I had to work. So I'm also I had to cram like 5 pages of words, and that scene, I'm just me talking at him like blah, 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 blah. And so I'm like on the drive up, thankfully it's 6.5 hours, 7 hours, and I'm like, that's time I can like cram all these lines in. I'm like just going over and over. I recorded the other lines on a recorder, so I'm like driving the whole time. But about like 3 hours into the drive, I start realizing, I'm like, I have to work with Jason Bateman. I'm going to work with Jason Bateman? I'm working with Jason Bateman? The Hogan family? I'm like, all these things. And of course, we were huge fans of Arrested Development. But just everything I've seen him in, I've adored him. He's just he just always seemed like a good soul. And like, his name, like since I was little, I knew his name, just Jason Bateman and his sister Justine Bateman, like you knew them both because those were the shows that were on.
100%.
So it was just this whole, and I started like, what if I bleep the lines, like what if I mess up? What if I freak? What if I fangirl? Like that was the phrase. That's why that was immediately what Kim hit. I'm like, what if I can't do my job? So when I got to the hotel after the fitting, I got to the hotel and I prop up my laptop. I pull up a photo of Jason Bateman. I make his head as big as the screen, right? And so I'm like, now I'm running lines with him. Like I'm looking in his eyes so I'm like psychology, right? I'm like trying to like, okay, let's trick your mind that this is normal. And so tomorrow it'll be normal. Like you've already run lines with him. It's all good. And so I think it helped a lot. But, the next morning on set and you go in and you meet he comes in, he was just welcoming right off the bat, just like, hello. And it just felt like it felt like a scene you're doing in acting class. Like you're working with a peer. It felt like working with a peer, and like we're laughing in between. And it was just so easy to do my job. It felt he was very disarming and welcoming. And
that's fantastic. That's so good to hear.
And
because he could have been a jerk.
On a show
he
like
could have
that.
built that up, and he could have been like the biggest a-hole.
Right. Which I'm not even going to say any of those stories. That's not worth it. But like, I love these stories where it's like really lovely people and they are just other humans doing their job. It's just another job. It's just they happen to be seen by a lot of people and judged by a lot of people. So I can even understand why people are more standoffish too, because humans are vulnerable, and so like if you got to do what you can to feel safe, but also to do your work, like a role like Jason Bateman has on Ozark and Laura Linney, and like they're incredible artists. So to be able to watch them work, and so I had to do another scene, and there was a totally different vibe. It was after another heavy scene. So I was picking up on that, and I wasn't like, I tried to like stay back. I try to give people their space, right? Like, but yeah, on a show like that, for him to have been so welcoming at that point was still just like, I felt it's a gift. I mean, maybe it should be like that on all the sets, but I don't think it can be like that. You know?
Understandable. Right.
Many variables.
That's incredible to hear.
Yeah, but he was wonderful. Judy Greer was wonderful. There's just so many wonderful people.
I want Judy Greer on this show so bad. So Judy, if you're watching, just slide into the DMs.
Hear me?
Yeah, so just slide into. Speaking of DMs, if folks want to find you on the social medias, I know you said you're You weren't the best at it. You
I've
weren't
been
up to
like
date.
stepping down since a few years ago around a certain era of our country. um, I'm on Instagram mostly, and sometimes on Twitter. I haven't really checked my Facebook in a while, but it's you got it, Milo. You're so fast. It's even spelled right and everything. Who are you?
I can do some tech things. Told you. It's StreamYard. It does all the work for me.
StreamYard. Go StreamYard.
Yeah.
In the Milo Beasley Show. I'm on
It's
the
gonna be in your head all day.
Beasley Show. Hey.
It's gonna be in your head all day now. So
It has been stuck in my head, and it's catchy.
right.
I
I lucked out.
Singer? Who did it?
It's actually a former old professional wrestler. His name is Johnny G. He has Johnny G Lion. He's a country singer in like Pasco County or something like that. And I just put out a thing one day. I was like, hey, I need an intro song. And somebody tagged him. And he was like, what do you need? I said, I just wanted to say the Milo Beasley Show. And then he came back with that gem. And I was like, this is the greatest. Like,
He's a jingle master.
yeah, it was amazing. So I feel blessed to be given such a great song for such a silly little internet show.
It's so fun. It's just simple and do the chef's kiss. No, that's not the chef's kiss. I guess that's the COVID chef's kiss.
Right. Yeah, just all right. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Only thank you comes to mind. I don't know what else to say. And it's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I hope that we can get together sometime in person, maybe do lunch, dinner, or something like that. That'd be fantastic. So thank you all for watching. Again, 338 episodes. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do so. And most importantly, tell your friends. Rachel, it was great seeing you.
Nice to see
you.
And
we will see everybody else next week.